Okay, let me tell you an absolutely epic story. It spans centuries, it has an unstoppable army with elephants, a miraculous, straight-up, unbelievable intervention, and the birth of an economic superpower. And believe it or not, this entire saga is wrapped up in one short, four-verse chapter in the Quran, Surah Quraysh.
But to really get this story, we can't start with the tribe of Quraysh. Nope. We have to rewind, go back centuries before they were even a big deal, to their ancestor, Prophet Ibrahim, and this one single powerful prayer he made for the totally barren valley of Makkah. And this prayer, this is the key to the whole thing. He asks for two fundamental things that any people, any civilization needs to thrive: security from fear and prosperity against hunger. Just remember those two things, because they are going to drive this entire story.
All right, now let's fast forward a few hundred years and meet our bad guy. Down in Yemen, there's this governor, Abraha. He decides to build a jaw-droppingly magnificent cathedral. We're talking covered in gold and silver. His goal? To make it the new center of the world, to divert all the pilgrimage, all the trade, all the money away from that simple little stone cube in Mecca, the Kaaba.
But here's the thing, his grand plan completely flops. The people, their hearts are still drawn to Mecca. So Abraha, furious that he's being ignored, swears this terrifying oath. He's not going to compete with the Kaaba anymore. He's going to march his army up there and grind it into dust. And he assembles an army like nothing Arabia had ever seen before.
I mean, the mismatch here is almost laughable. You've got 60,000 professional soldiers, spearheaded by African war elephants. These were literally the tanks of the ancient world. And on the other side, a city of merchants. No army, no defenses. The people of Mecca knew they didn't stand a chance. Their only move was to grab what they could and flee into the mountains.
And this next part just shows you the mindset in the city. Abraha's army steals some camels that belong to Mecca's leader, Abdul Muttalib. So he goes to negotiate. And Abraha's probably expecting him to beg for the city, but instead, Abdul Muttalib just says, "Hey, I'm here for my camels." He delivers this legendary line, which is basically him saying, "Those camels are my problem. The Kaaba, that's God's problem. He'll take care of his own house."
So the stage is set, right? The city's a ghost town. A technologically superior, massive army is right at the gates, ready to flatten the place. The situation looks completely and utterly hopeless.
And then the impossible happens. Abraha gives the command to charge, but his lead elephant, this huge beast named Mahmud, just stops. He stops dead in his tracks, kneels down, and refuses to take a single step towards the Kaaba.
So the soldiers are beating this elephant, trying to force it forward, when all of a sudden, the sky just goes black. It's not a storm, it's birds. Swarms and swarms of them. And each tiny bird is carrying 3 tiny baked clay stones. And as they fly over the army, they drop them. These little pebbles hit the soldiers and just tear right through them.
That whole mighty army of 60,000 is completely wiped out. The Quran describes them as looking like chewed up straw. Abraha himself actually escapes, but as he's running back to Yemen, his body literally starts falling apart until he dies. This event was so huge, so mind-blowing, that the Arabs reset their whole calendar. This became the New Year 1, the Year of the Elephant.
Okay, so that incredible miracle, that was the fulfillment of the first part of Ibrahim's prayer, security from fear. I mean, you can't get more secure than that. But this is where the story of Surah Quraysh really begins, because it's all about how the second part of that prayer was answered, the part about prosperity.
The logic here is just so clear and powerful. After every tribe in Arabia saw a superpower army get wiped out by birds, who would ever mess with Mecca again? Nobody. Suddenly, the Quraysh weren't just some tribe, they were God's people, living in God's protected city. Their trade caravans basically got a universal VIP pass. They were untouchable. So, with this newfound security, the Quraysh set up this brilliant business model. They established 2 huge annual trade caravans. In the winter, they'd go south to Yemen to get spices and goods from Asia. And in the summer, they'd go north to Syria and sell all that stuff to the Roman Empire. They became the one safe link between the great markets of the ancient world, and they became fabulously wealthy. Prosperity against hunger? Check. Now, the Quran uses a very specific word to explain why God gave them all this. It was for the ilaf of Quraysh. The word ilaf means to soften hearts, to bring people together, to create a pact or a covenant. It was a deal, a divine agreement. God gives you protection and wealth.
And that's the whole point. You've got these two massive blessings. You've seen a prayer from centuries ago get answered in the most spectacular way possible. So, what was the one thing that was expected of them in return for all this?
The Quran just reminds them of the deal. Hey, remember, he is the one who fed you and saved you from starvation. That whole prosperity thing, that was him.
And he's the one who made you safe when you were terrified, hiding in the mountains. That miraculous security, that was him too. Both parts of that ancient prayer, completely answered.
So with that history, with that protection, with that unique economic status all laid out on the table, the Quran asks for the logical repayment. What's the one thing they need to do to fulfill their side of the covenant? It's this simple. Worship the Lord of this house, the same house, the Kaaba. That was the reason for their protection, the source of all their prestige. The entire point of the miracle, the safety and the wealth, was to lead their hearts back to the one God who gave it all to them in the first place. And that leaves us with a really timeless question, doesn't it? The story of Quraysh is this amazing, dramatic reminder that blessings, whether it's security in our lives or money in the bank or anything else, they all come with a purpose. It kind of forces us to look at our own lives and ask, when good things happen to me, where does my gratitude actually go?